Welcome to the Martha Stewart Craft Studio Glittering Techniques class. In this class, you and your students will explore the range of beautiful colors and wonderful textures that make Martha Stewart Crafts glitter so special. You'll get to try a variety of different glittering techniques on these butterflies and directly on the cards to which the butterflies are applied. And in doing that, you'll get to have lots of fun with the glitter and learn lots and lots of different ways that you can use that glitter on cards and on all kinds of other projects as well. Your students will come to class with this class kit, which includes 6 different colors of glitter and just about everything else that's needed to make these 4 cards. On the back of the box is a list of everything that's included in the kit, and that's shown in this picture, and a short list of a few other things that students should bring to class. Also in this kit is a manual that will guide you and your students through each of these projects. So you'll see step by step how to create each one and discover what techniques you're learning along the way. And in the back of the manual, you'll find a few additional ideas for projects that students can create using the additional glitter they'll have left over at the end of class. So let's get started. In this class, we are creating 4 cards with 4 butterflies, and each butterfly is going to illustrate a different glittering technique. So you have a monarch-shaped butterfly that's plain white, another monarch butterfly that's bright orange, a tailed butterfly with an outline design, and another tailed butterfly that's plain white. And because we're going to be applying glue and glitter to each of these butterflies, and then the glue needs time to dry, you may find it best to glitter all 4 butterflies first and set them aside to dry. Then you can go assemble the 4 cards and at the end apply the butterflies to the cards. So let's start with our first butterfly, which is our plain white monarch-shaped butterfly. And we have in the kit a glue pen and a foam brush. And what we'll do is just apply this glue in a fairly thin layer onto the wings of the butterfly, and we're just going to kind of draw a line where the body of the butterfly would be. We'll go back and get the butterfly later in a different glitter. So I'm just going to spread some glue on the wings and then go in with my foam brush and gently spread that in a thin layer. And then I'm going to go in with my peridot glitter and sprinkle it on the butterfly. I'm taking one of my paper plates. It kind of serves as a nice little kind of a spoon rest too. You can use your paper plate to set the foam brush on in between uses. So you can just take the cap right off of the glitter bottle. This is the peridot. It also has a little sprinkle top that you can show your students. But in this case, we're covering a large enough surface that it's worth just taking the cap off and then sprinkling our glitter onto the butterfly. And you can shake the butterfly a little bit to get that glitter to all the edges, all the glued surfaces, and then tap the back a little bit. And then you have the first step of your first project, and that's this butterfly. And if you have any edges that just need a little bit of glue, you can actually even go back and add that right now. And just add a little bit more glitter. And there, it's all covered up. So we'll set this one aside to dry and move on to the next butterfly. And always make sure that you have some copier paper or a paper plate, something to protect your work surface. Having this paper is really nice because that lets me just capture that glitter and tip it back into the jar. And then I can use that glitter again later on. This one is really fun because what we're going to do with this one is we're going to use the orange Sherbet iridescent glitter. And iridescent glitter is sort of semi-transparent, so when we apply this glitter to the butterfly, we're going to be able to see through the orange glitter to the orange pattern on the butterfly itself. So this is actually probably the easiest or the least complicated butterfly we're going to do today. We're just going to apply a thin coat of glue over the entire butterfly, including those antennae. By using the iridescent glitter on this butterfly, your students get to see a different type of glitter. Most of our glitters are opaque, but the effect of this iridescent semi-transparent glitter gives kind of a wow factor. So I'm going to set this butterfly down and sprinkle it with the orange sherbet glitter. And you'll see on this butterfly the wings have some white spots. So those white spots will become kind of a sheer orange, and then the orange colors areas on the butterfly just become kind of a different color of orange. So make sure there's plenty of glitter on the butterfly. You can always tap the remainder back into the jar, so you can be very generous when sprinkling that glitter. Flip it over and give it a little tap on the back. I think I might have touched the front of that butterfly a little bit. Yeah. And there's my glittered orange butterfly. Looks pretty good. So now I can also set that one aside to dry. And I'm just setting it on the same paper plate where my first butterfly was. So our next butterfly is the tailed butterfly with the outline design. Now this one we're using several different colors on, so it will take a little time to complete. The idea here is to do one color, set it aside and allow that color to dry, and then go work on another task, and then come back and apply the next application of glue and glitter, the next color of glitter, after the first color is more or less dry. So it's probably easiest to start by just outlining the outside design, which will be black. And then you can refer to the photo in the instruction booklet for which color should go where, or you can use your imagination, use your own creativity and change those colors around. The idea here is to show how you can use this technique of kind of painting with glitter. It's almost like painting by numbers. If you ever did that sort of a project, here we're just following the outline of each different shape, and then we'll just apply glue and different colors of glitter to each area. And this butterfly shows you how to do that on a butterfly, but then of course you could apply that same technique to all kinds of different projects. It could be a photograph, or it could be some other type of project. In fact, on the marthastewart.com website, there is a feature where you can actually upload your own photograph and have it converted to a kind of a paint by number technique. It's designed so that you can actually then go select or mix your own glitter colors and do this same kind of paint by number technique on your own photograph. And so you end up with this totally glittered image, which is really neat. And again, you want the glue to be not too thick, just thin enough to give a nice even coat on that section. This is the part that will take the most time in your class, so that's something to think about. And I'm just taking the very tip of this foam brush to even out some areas where the glue is a little bit thicker. Okay, so that's just half of the butterfly, and for demonstration purposes I will leave it at that for right now. And let's sprinkle our onyx glitter on the outline of that butterfly's wing. So that'll be my first half, and I could still go back in with my glue tube and just touch up the areas where maybe I didn't get quite enough glitter on. And you'll have that happen in class, so it's good to know ahead of time. So you can do that, and then once you've outlined both wings and filled in the body with the glue and the onyx glitter, then again you can set that aside to dry. And the technique we're doing on this butterfly is really fun. It actually involves combining two colors of glitter. So we have the Florentine Gold and the Tourmaline. And we're actually going to create several different glitter blends. So this is where you want to bring in the paper cupcake liners that came in the kit. You'll also eventually use this empty glitter vial to capture the glitter blend that we're creating. So you won't need that immediately, but at the end of this project we will. So what we're going to do now is kind of set up a range of glitters from solid pink or tourmaline to the solid gold, and then several different combinations in between. So one side will have more of the pink and the other will have more of the gold, and in the middle we'll have a 50-50 mix. And if you look at the cap, there's a little line on the side of the cap, and that can actually be a good guide to use for determining your measurements when you're mixing. So I'm going to pour a little tourmaline glitter about halfway up to that cap in the first bottle, and then I'm going to add, actually I'm going to add a little bit more. This is the one that's going to be more tourmaline, so I'm going to add a little bit more there. That would go almost up to the line of the cap. And then with the gold, I'm going to go halfway up to that line. So this cup will have more pink and less gold. In the middle we'll have a 50-50 mix, so I'm going to go about halfway up to that line with the gold, and then the same with the tourmaline. I've got a little bit too much of the pink in there, so I'm going to just shake out not all of it, because you can always go back and kind of readjust those blends to individual taste. Okay, and then in the last one I'm going again halfway up with the tourmaline, and then all the way up to the edge to that first line with the gold. So now I have more gold in this cup. And now I'm going to use my wooden stick that also came in the kit and stir up those blends. So now I'm ready to start glittering my butterfly, and we're going to create an ombre effect, a kind of graduated application of color where the body of the butterfly will be gold, and on the outer edges we'll have the solid tourmaline or pink, and going from the gold to the pink we'll have this pretty graduated effect. And so I'm going to again use my glue tube to apply that glue. You do have 2 tubes of glue in this kit. It's just about the right amount to do all the projects in the kit, as long as you don't go too heavy on the glue. So I'm applying my glue to my butterfly body. I'm going to use my foam brush to just touch it up a little bit, get a nice even application, nice and smooth. And now I'm ready for my first color. So first the gold onto the body. And with the other butterflies, we tapped off the glitter and then poured the glitter back into each jar. On this particular butterfly, you actually don't have to do that. You can just go with each individual color and not have to tap off each one, because we actually are trying to have them blended together, whereas on the other butterflies we had sort of a distinction between those colors. Here we have kind of the opposite. So I'm going to apply my glue to both wings, and then we'll apply that glitter in stages. Now we get to do the fun part, which is experimenting with these glitter blends. And I've got just a little bit of thickness there. There we go. So one by one we'll use those blends on each side of the gold, starting with the blend that is more gold. So this is my blend that's more gold. I'm going to just sprinkle from this cupcake liner a little bit on each side of that body. And then I'll move on to the blend that's more of a 50-50 mix. And then my blend that is more of the tourmaline. You can see this is not an exact science at all. You just kind of have at it. And then at the very end, I'm going to use my solid tourmaline. I can even do a little bit around the edges here. And now, once you've got all of those poured, I can see a little spot here, I'm going to add my gold blend there. Once you have all of your glitter applied, then you can turn that butterfly over, and as I can see where I've held on to it for a little bit, my finger was just nudging that glue in, so I'm just shaking it to get a little glitter over that spot. So we'll tap all the glitter off, and then we have this blended Ombre Effect butterfly. So that is the next butterfly to go be set aside to dry. So again, I can put it on this plate here. And now this would be a good time to come back to our outline butterfly and come back and work on the next color here. So before we move on, we've got this blend of the pink and gold glitters in front of us, and this is a great time to scoop all that up, take the empty glitter vial that came in the kit, and just, love that pop sound, just capture all of that, because now you have a new blend, newly blended color that you can use on other projects. So we'll just hang on to that. And if you wanted to, if you have enough glitter left to save, you can even use the glitter, take the glitter that's in your cupcake liners and also capture that in this jar too. As we're getting ready to go back to that black outline butterfly, this is actually a good time to take a moment and clean up our workspace. And it's a really good time to tell your students about the Martha Stewart Crafts Glitter Cleanup Cloth. This is a tacky cloth that helps you really clean up your area. You know, people like to play with glitter, but the one drawback sometimes can be, how do I get it cleaned up really well? So this cleanup cloth, it looks a little bit like cheesecloth, but it has a tacky surface, and you can actually cut it apart and just use little pieces of it at a time and keep reusing that one piece until it's just really well used, and then just dispose of it. So I'm just going to cut off a little square here. And if you just use this cloth to clean up your work surface, it will pick up all that glitter. And there's all that glitter that came up on the cloth. So I'm just going to take a minute and clean up my area so I'm ready for my next step. Okay, so I've cleaned up my workspace. I'm ready to move on to coloring the other areas of my black outline butterfly. And just using the photo in the illustration as a guide, I'm going to do the two large areas with the turquoise, and then this next large area with the gold, and the remainder with the green, the peridot. So let's get started with our turquoise area. And here I'm just going to do, for illustration purposes, I'll just do 1/2 of this butterfly. Obviously in class you would want to do both sides at the same time, so you sprinkle each color one time. And then go back in with the brush and just kind of even everything out. And this is one of the things we learn about glue and glitter as you do different types of projects. You start to get a feel for how thick the glue needs to be for certain type of projects. Just in general, a thicker glue is going to give you a thicker coat of glitter because there's more glue for the glitter to hold on to. But then in the end it takes a little longer to dry, so you have to kind of weigh that according to each project. So my large area gets the turquoise glitter. So we tap that off and then scoop it back into the jar, and I'm just going to set this aside, but I would scoop it back into the jar. But now I have a clean surface for my next color, which is going to be the gold. And ideally, you would do this so that you allow some time in between each color for the glue to dry, so that you have as little as possible of one color moving on to another color. Actually, that turned out pretty well. And then my last color is going to be the green. So I'll go and fill out each of these areas with my glue. And the peridot glitter. And if you flip it over really quickly like that, that also helps you minimize the amount of glitter that migrates from the area where you applied it onto the other colors. So that's one half of the butterfly. And when you've actually done both halves of the butterfly, your finished piece will look like this. In this butterfly, we talked about doing a kind of a paint by number technique where we outlined each area and gave it a different color. But here we also combine different textures. So you have the contrast of the fine glitter next to that kind of furry textured tinsel glitter, which is a really nice effect. We had started off earlier with our green butterfly, and now we can go back and apply the blue, the turquoise tinsel, to the middle of that butterfly. So we'll just go in with the glue pen. Apply that glue. And really it doesn't matter in what order you finish glittering all of your glittered pieces. The idea is just to allow time to dry in between colors for those projects that do have multiple colors like this one does. So we've got the green peridot glitter that's almost dry. Now I'm going back with the turquoise tinsel glitter again. So this is again another project where we combine textures. It gives that butterfly a fuzzy little body, and that tinsel texture of the tinsel kind of slightly overlaps into the peridot and covers up any imperfections in the outline of the body of the butterfly. So that takes care of that one. We'll set that aside to dry. And then I'm going to move on to some of the other parts of our projects that get glitter. And one of those is the little thank you label that goes on the same card as that green butterfly. And this is a technique that involves actually writing with glitter. So we're going to trace this thank you with the glue pen and then go back and glitter it. This is a really fun technique to do. And it is actually said that one year Martha Stewart used this technique to sign her Christmas cards, all 1,000 of them. Can you imagine doing that? So I'm just doing the one word, the thank you, of the thank you, just again, so we get the idea. Sprinkle that with the peridot glitter. And of course you would do both words. Oh, I forgot to cross my T. So I'll just go back and hit that. So there's my thank. And then my final glittered piece will look like that. So again, we'll set our thank you aside to dry. Now we have a couple of different cards that have glittering techniques on them on the actual surface of the card. I'm going to just pour this back in real quickly. One of those cards is the pink card with the green and pink flowers. So we want to first adhere that paper, the pattern paper, to the front of the card, and then we'll go back and apply glitter to the pattern paper. Let's see. My card opens up this way, so I want my flowers kind of growing up. So there is sort of a top and a bottom to this pattern piece. Alright, I have my pattern paper there. Now we're going to go back, and this is a technique that's similar to the color by numbers, except here we have a picture that's already pretty colorful. And we're just going to use glitter to go back and add little accents of color to the existing pattern. So I'll start with my peridot, and I'll just take some of these leaves and outline them with the glue pen, and not even necessarily the whole leaf, but you can see in this pattern how the leaves have different shades of green. So I can just select one of those shades and then go back and glitter it with the peridot to give it a little sparkle. And let's see, I think I like this leaf here. This is where we really get to be a little bit creative and just selecting where we want those green highlights to be, because there is no right or wrong way to do it. It's just personal preference. So I've picked a few areas, and now I'm going in with my peridot. And I would probably choose a couple more areas on this card just in the interest of time. I didn't do that. So you can see how this pattern paper starts to pick up some of the green glitter. And on this and all the projects, when you do have these stray bits of glitter on the pattern paper, the best thing to do is just give it time. Set it aside, let it dry, and then you can even go back with a dry, fine paintbrush to go brush off those little extra pieces of glitter. So with this one, I'd go finish the green parts, set that aside to dry, and while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll go glitter our next card. I'm actually just going to set this green aside. Now we have a blue card with a fern pattern, and on this card what we end up doing is, after we attach the paper to the card, we're going to outline this border in the turquoise tinsel glitter. So let's just attach this really quickly. And again, this is a really nice technique to do, and very easy. And if you happen not to draw the line perfectly straight, it's okay, because this tinsel glitter, again, the texture is going to cover up any little imperfections. And so it's just simply a matter of taking that glue pen, drawing a straight line, and you can kind of feel the edge of that paper with the tip of the glue, which makes it really actually pretty easy to get a fairly straight line. After it's all sprinkled, tap it, turn it over, and then you end up with this beautiful glittery outline border. It's just such an easy technique, and the result is really, for the little effort that you put in, the result is really beautiful. This is also a good time to mention to your students. In this kit, of course, we have these glue tubes, but once the glue in these tubes are used up, you can still do this technique and the glitter writing technique that we did by using the Martha Stewart Crafts ballpoint tip glue pen. There's also a fine tip glue pen, so they have different tips that will let you achieve different types of results. And I just want to show you real quickly what that does. So if you take this glue pen, it's very much like a ballpoint pen, and you can just draw a line by squeezing the tube. And then applying the glitter, and you get that same effect that we just created with the glue tube that's in the kit. So this is a great way to be able to continue to use all the glitter in your kit after you've used the glue that came with it. Alright, so we have one more thing to glitter, and that will be the remaining part of this pattern paper. I've highlighted some of the leaves in the peridot, but now I want to take the tourmaline and highlight some of the flowers in this pattern. So again, I'm taking my glue tube, and just as we did before with the leaves, just go back and apply a little bit of glue to different parts of the flowers that you want to highlight. And apply all the glue first, and then just go back and apply the glitter at the end. So I'm doing just a few, and again, it's totally up to the individual how much or how many or how few of these flowers they want to glitter. So again, I have some specks here of glitter, and once the glue is dry, I can go back and clean up the glitter in between. So we'll set that one aside, and it'll finish drying in just a few minutes. Alright, now we're ready to start on the peach colored card, and this technique uses double-sided tape to create stripes. I am using a tape here that's a little different from the tape that you'll have in your kit, but I'm going to show you the same technique that you'll do in class. So the first thing we're going to do is take our card, take the end of the double-sided tape, and create a stripe about half an inch to 1/4 of an inch from the left-hand edge of the card. Just a nice straight line. And this is where your precision scissors come in, because you'll want to take the scissors and trim the tape just to the edge of the card. And it's actually even easier to do if you flip that card over and you can see where the edge of your paper is. And then we're going to remove the liner from the tape to expose the adhesive side, and then take the orange sorbet iridescent glitter. Remember, this is the same glitter we used on the orange butterfly, and we're going to just sprinkle it over this stripe. And it is so fun when we tap off the glitter and see this absolutely beautiful, perfect stripe with just these really crisp edges. So that's our first stripe. Then we're going to create kind of a plaid effect. We're going to lay a second stripe of tape across the top of the card. And actually what you'll do with the tape that you have in your kit is you'll apply 2 of these stripes side by side. So I'm going to do that now, and the card that I end up creating is going to look a little different from yours just because my tape is wider. So now again we'll remove that backing. And now we're going to glitter this top stripe with the tourmaline glitter. So now we have a nice pink stripe. And again, a little paintbrush or something like that is really great to just brush away that excess glitter. Alright, now I'm going to bring my orange sherbet glitter back into the picture one more time. Since I happen to have that paper right here, I'll just bring it in. And we're going to create one more stripe with the tape, and that's going to overlap the pink. So that's where we have this plaid effect, because again, because this orange glitter is iridescent, we'll actually see through the orange and get a little bit of that pink at the same time. And if you ever have trouble removing the liner on a piece of double-sided tape, one good way to do that is to use the tip of a craft knife or even the tip of your scissors. You can go under there and kind of get that lifted to get it started. So one more time with the orange sherbet iridescent glitter, and we're going to see the great effect that this gives us. See how we see through the orange glitter on the top, so it creates that nice plaid. As I said, again, your card will look a little different. Your tape will be narrower, and this top stripe will be about half the width. All the stripes will be about half the width of the actual card. In fact, once you've created this, once you've gotten this far on the card, really the last step is just to apply the butterfly, the orange butterfly, to the card with your foam tape. And so your end result will look like this. So we're almost done with our cards at this point. We really just have a few assembly steps left. We're going to take our green square card and use a tape runner to adhere the patterned paper with the blue and green vines to the front of the card. And then you can use the illustrations in the booklet as reference. You'll see that we have the green butterfly that goes on this card and the thank you label, and they both are attached to the front of the card with a couple of squares of foam tape. So I'm just going to turn my butterfly over gently. Hopefully the glue is dry by now, and if it's not, your students can take the butterflies home on a paper plate and even do this assembly at home. So we'll end up with the thank you butterfly card, where we learned how to apply glue and glitter to a surface, and we learned to combine textures of glitter with the fine glitter and the tinsel glitter on the butterfly. And we also learned a glitter writing technique where we traced the thank you in glitter. On the iridescent monarch butterfly card, we learned the properties of iridescent glitter so that we could see that orange on the butterfly through the semi-transparent iridescent glitter. And we also learned how to create a plaid with the iridescent and the solid glitter using double-sided tape. On the fern butterfly card, we did a glitter painting technique where we combined textures of glitter, the fine and the tinsel again. And we also created that border around the outside of the card using the tip of the glue pen and that textured tinsel glitter. And then on the Ombre Monarch Butterfly card, we learned how to mix colors of glitter together to create new shades and to create that graduated pattern across the butterfly. And we also highlighted parts of the patterned paper with the glitter on the background. So at the end of class, after you've created the cards, remind your students to check out the other projects that are in the back of the guide. These are other types of things that they can create with their glitter. And also take a moment to walk out to where the Martha Stewart Crafts product is in the store and remind them of other types of products that they might enjoy based on what they did in class today. Other colors of glitter, different glues that would be useful in different types of projects, the scissors we used in class, and of course the glitter cleanup cloth. So take a few moments to do that, and then at the end of class you can send your students home with all that extra glitter they still have left over and their beautiful cards that they created in class.